My husband's dream was to own a restaurant. He knew that he wanted to own his own place. That was his dream from as long as I knew him. Met when we were 15. I don't know, it was silly. We were so young. I just met him through friends, and you know, when you're that young, you don't think it's going to be anything, but instantly it was. He worked his way up in that restaurant industry, and so he took so much pride in it. I used to be at TD corporate, so completely different world. But when my third son was born, he said, why don't you come help me at the restaurant for a couple of days and manage the finances there? The last 2 years, I got to go in to work with him every day. Oddly enough, going to work with him every day ended up being the best thing. October was when he wasn't feeling well. The actual diagnosis came November 10th, 2016. I always wonder which day is harder, the day he died or that day, because that day to me is when everything changed. He got a follow-up call to meet the doctor on the 10th, which he didn't tell me about. He came back late and he came up the steps. He starts screaming, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, and he starts crying. Started backing away and I said, what happened? And he goes, I have cancer. Instantly, I just remember thinking, but I'm pregnant and we're just starting our life. I just remember looking at my stomach and saying, baby, you gotta take care of this one on your own. And then for that, like just maybe the week before he was due, our mind wasn't so much on cancer. And it's actually his chemo appointment was scheduled for that day, and that's when my water broke. Everyone said, go home, you have a newborn. But I couldn't leave his side. So I just stayed with him every single day, every minute. And then when he died, I had already lived through so much that it was numbing. I had so much hope. I had so much hope, so I wouldn't let there be any room for anything else. It was after he died that every emotion came out after. Anger was a big one. Anger was big, and found I was just getting upset at everybody and cutting everybody off. Now, a year and a half later, I can come home. Peggy would come to my house. There's no judgment. What I liked is she would just listen and validate my feelings. It wasn't like, oh, you shouldn't be angry. It was, oh, yes, you're angry. Like, I was allowed to be angry. And she made it seem it was okay. It got to a point where then she started to realize that I needed to maybe go into a support group. And I went, well, I'm gonna be the youngest one there. I just knew it, right? How am I gonna relate? But my God, did we relate. The pain is the same. And everyone there also lost someone to cancer. So I didn't feel as sorry for myself because I realized at any stage it's hard. And we still meet. We go have tea and we're friends. You know, it's a group of people you wouldn't think would have been able to come together, but it was one of the best things I did. My husband fought that battle so beautifully. Like he could have been bitter and resentful and angry. The positivity is so important. I'm so grateful that because we were positive, we made the best out of those days. I wouldn't trade any of that last year, because then you lose that valuable time and you don't have any memories. You always have to fight. I tell them, whatever you do be like your dad. We learned so many life lessons from him, just watching him. I wanted them to have a picture of both of us as in, we have to fight. You always have to fight.